Last week I promised you guys an Edward video and I wasn't really sure if I knew too much. So I had to do the next best thing and bring out my magnifying glass.
Oh shit.
And oh my goodness, I found out something that I am confident nobody knows, and it blew my mind. I found out what the very first released Edward is. I mean, obvious characteristics is it has skinny stats, graphics are a little different, but can you spot anything more? It's not the face. While I let you guys sing, make sure to subscribe. I have a very special gift for you guys once we reach 2,000 subs, and I want to give it out on Christmas week. And I know we can make it happen. Now, do you guys have the answer for me? Well, let's check our smoke box. There is a protruded bevel that pops up on the top, just like our prop model. And what I believed happened is, as they scaled, making a cylindrical body was probably a lot more easier, and that is why we only see this feature on the first edition. Why did skinny stack transition to fat? Because the skinny stack kept breaking out. Why did the fat stack transition to bevel? To avoid kids from getting splinters. Why do we have transition variants? To utilize leftovers. And why did they get rid of the cuts on the buffer beam? Less cuts mean lower cost and time. Why did they partially paint the roof at their last run? I have no idea. Maybe they were inspired by Brio. And why did they paint the eyes? Great question, let me know in the comments because I want to know myself. At this point, we all understand how 1992 Edward evolved, but what was it modeled after? Every single Thomas Wooden Railway were modeled after the TV show. This is Edward's prop model. This is 1992 Edward, and this is our 2022 Edward. They did a splendid job with the 1992 faces. I like how accurate it is compared with the props. You can even see the wrinkles on the eyes of Edward and his sharp nose. Weird fact is that the pupils are glinted while the props are more circular. As a matter of fact, some trains like Bill and Ben had round pupils. 2022 Edward, on the other hand, uses a CGI expression. First of all, I think 2022 models are amazing and I was very impressed. But because we're doing a review, I'm going to be that guy that nitpicks. Personally, I feel like the face is targeted towards a very specific scenario, and how I see Thomas Wooden Railway evolving in the future is, what if they incorporate magnetic interchangeable faces? With that being said, I think 1992 Thomas Edward gets the W for its accuracy. Going below the face, while the 1992 Edward bumpers are just painted blue, 2022 has the graphics. I love both of them. For 2022, I appreciate how much details they try to incorporate, while 1992 gives the simple classical look of Wooden Railway. Lastly, by analyzing the proportions for the body, I think both Edwards were made a bit too wide. Usually the full body and the props are a lot more skinnier. Side view Edward. It's amazing how identical the 2022 Edward is compared to the props. The side view amazed me. I like how they try to include every single details on graphics, and overall proportions are spot on. They even printed the rivets, which I think is very impressive, and the thing that amazed me the most was the size proportions on the wheels. They had smaller wheels on the front and bigger on the back. If I were to point out some stuff, they could have gotten rid of the black windows on the edge, proportioned the red lines more evenly, and redimensioning the tenders. I feel like if they made it longer using 3 small wheels, it would have been perfect. Let's check the 1992s. Initially, they made their red graphics accurately with the correct curves, but afterwards they just printed it out as a line. One distinctive feature we see in 1992 Edwards is that it has no lining graphics on the smoke box. The reason why they skipped lining graphics is because they started utilizing pad printing graphics on beveled surfaces on their second wave of making Bill and Ben. I'm more of a fan of the learning curve wheel. I believe it brings more texture to it, but I also appreciate how in 2022 they got the proportions accurate. Let's check the back. Both Wooden Railway tenders have simple blue bodies, no graphics whatsoever. Maybe in the next wave, Wooden Railway will stamp the bumpers on the back as well. If we check the proportions between the curve and the height, definitely the 2022 looks a lot more accurate. Boxes and pamphlets. Did they even have pamphlets to start with? In the big scheme of things, I believe there were 3 to 4 waves of Thomas Wooden Railway releases in 1992 to 1993, and they started including pamphlets on their 3rd wave. The very first wave of Thomas Wooden Railway came in green box with hollow font labels. Second wave of Wooden Railway included more characters with solid red fonts for the labels with no pamphlets, and starting with the 3rd wave they added even more characters and had a hybrid between green boxes and blue boxes and mixed it up between the leftover labels and new rectangular cloud labels. The 3rd wave is also when Learning Curve bought Thomas Wooden Railway. This is the very first edition. It includes every single character that was released during the 2nd wave. At this point, Donald, Douglas, Nafford Express coaches were still yet to be released. Initially, they indicated the 35-piece set as 34-piece set and 50-piece set as 49-piece set, and it says lifetime warranty. So about that, Learning Curve, can you please fix up some of my suntanned boxes and damaged trains? Diving into the boxes, the box says it was made in the USA, dated 1992, and they had a partnership with Shining Time Station. They have the address of their warehouse, and theoretically, it should be improving my social skills and hand skills. As they transitioned to the blue box, that is when Learning Curve bought the Thomas Wooden Railway franchise and started to scale. They were initially partnered with Shining Time Station, but a year afterwards, for whatever reason, they went their separate ways. That is why in 1993 we don't see the Shining Time logos, but also some that had Shining Time logos were cut off and sold the trains like this. Now, have you guys ever wondered what the top 10 rarest Thomas Wooden Railway trains are? I'm curious myself. I'll see you guys next week.